everybody, welcome to Bestseller TV. I'm Taryn Winter-Brill. We're here with Leo Bottary. He is the author of Peer Novation, What Peer Advisory Groups Can Teach Us About Building High-Performing Teams. Leo, it's great to see you again.
It's so great to be here with you in the show again. Great to see you, Taryn.
Likewise, we should tell our viewers you were here for your last book, which was called What Anyone Can Do. And that was about peer groups as well, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, definitely connected. Each of them stands alone, but I would certainly love it, of course, if people read all three books, right? The first book, The Power of Peers, was really written to look at how and why peer groups are so effective for CEOs and business leaders. And the reason it was written was I was actually working for Vistage at the time, and Vistage assembles and facilitates peer advisory groups for CEOs and business leaders all around the world. And I was leading a brand refresh at the time, and as I was speaking to CEOs and business leaders and asking them, how do you learn, how do you grow? They would tell me, I read books, I hire coaches, I get consultants, I go to executive development programs at Harvard and Stanford, and no one, at least in an unassisted way, was mentioning peer groups. And I thought, oh my God, these things are so powerful and they're so effective, but people don't even have them as part of their consideration set. So the idea was, let's put a narrative together that really speaks to how and why these peer groups work, as well as they do. So that was the first book. In 2017, I had a podcast called The Year of the Peer. And I figured it was my venture into podcasting. I could have it have definite beginning and an end, and we could see how that goes. And that was on C-Suite radio, of course. But I interviewed 50 really successful people from all different walks of life. And of course, part of the questioning all the time was, okay, did you do this all by yourself? And every one of them would laugh, of course, at the idea that, they had countless people help them get to where they are. And so I took a lot of the, findings from those interviews and talked about the common thread there, which was, most of these people, it wasn't like they had, superhuman talent or anything like that. Obviously, they were committed to what they were doing, but they basically did what this gentleman, Joe Henderson, wrote about in a book in 1976, where he described, really successful people as the people who do the things that anyone can do, but most of us never will. And so we talked about that in the book. And I think, talked about the fact that when we surround ourselves with the right people, it can help us do those little things anyone can do far more often. So when you look at the power of peers and why peer groups work so well, and then you look at the power of any individual and what they can do with the help of others, then you start thinking about, well, what can this all mean to high-performing teams for our organizations? So that's where peer innovation comes into play after having now done about 160 or plus workshops throughout the US, UK, and Canada with CEO peer groups and cross-functional work teams, and really seen how these principles, these 5 factors that I've identified, apply to high-performing teams.